Brotherhood. So let's clear it out the way. I rep Blackout Soldiers. I'm the vice president of the Blackout Soldiers. Black and silver is what we represent. Those are our colors for those who need to see it real quick.
Blackout Soldiers to the casket drop. Shout out.
Shout out. We black out till we tap out. I mean, it's a good thing, man. We actually was Bad Boys, East Coast Bad Boys previously. Shout out to our Bad Boys family. It's still love for some of the bros and sisters out there. So it is what it is, man. We moving.
You've been rocking for a long time in music, man. I seen some videos for years back. I seen you on the cast.
Wow.
I mean, rocking out, man. It had a lot of views too. Talk about your humble beginnings, man. What it do?
Well, humble beginnings. Humble being in the sense of my humbleness of my family, but I'm from a small town, you know, Atlantic City, New Jersey. For those who don't know, I'm a city boy. It's a small town, a couple blocks long, but it's not too much to it, man. Really, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. It ain't too much to it. Come on. Oh, I know you got some good questions. Let's not play. Let's not play. You know where I'm from. You know where it's at. You know what I'm saying. For those who don't know, follow me on Instagram, Niko 609, or follow the group 120, Jersey Boys 120. You know what I'm saying? Jersey Boys, Jersey BOYZ 120 on Instagram, Niko 609.
Appreciate it. I wanted to walk slowly into it, but you know.
Yeah, come on, man.
Politics, man.
Come on, man. Let's talk what we can talk about. What we can't talk about, we'll leave it on the floor.
Definitely. Racial tension in the country get heated. You know. You can't ignore it. People try to ignore it. But the stuff that comes out every single day, Serena Williams situation, I don't know if you heard about it, but a former tennis star, a guy, you know, Serena's having a baby with a white guy, so he basically said something like chocolate baby, something that, you know what I mean? What's going on? What do we do now? Trump's the president. You got to speak on that, because every time I see you, your posts, you deal with that, and we should deal with those type of issues.
Well, how do we first deal with it? Is first identifying with the racism and racial problems that we have in America. That's first and foremost, because until we can identify with it or acknowledge it, I should say, it's going to be an issue. That's the first step. The Serena situation, you got to understand, them women come from Compton. They come from real hard upbringings coming up, and if I'm not mistaken, they had a sister that was murdered in Compton. So their upbringing it reflects a lot of the things that go on in their everyday life. So we got to look at that. If somebody's making a comment on what they do, that's them. For us in the presidency and what's going on, we need to focus on us as a community, man. I talk about it a lot on Instagram. We as a people, as a community, as a culture, we need to, lock in together and support one another and grow together. And then when it gets to the politics, bro, we need to really focus on local officials, your wards, different things like that, your mayors, your governors. We need to focus on them things before we start screaming about what the presidency can do and what the presidency is about.
Well, this is what I say, the local.
Yeah.
It's good we start there, like in Atlantic City. I mean, we know that. I mean, I seen one report, like they got the worst, they got the most complaints out of any police department in New Jersey. You know what I mean? Talking about Newark, you got Trenton, very bigger cities. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of corruption going, but what are the people really doing? You know what I mean? The city's in shambles, and I'm not trying to paint this bleak, you know what I mean, picture, but it is.
Dig it.
Jobs is leaving the city. You know what I'm saying? The crime rate's up. I mean, I myself got pulled over in Pleasantville like twice. They talking about suspecting me or some shit. I don't get down like that. So what do we do? Because it goes back. It's a racial issue. We can't really get around it.
What we have to do first is police our own neighborhoods and police the police, if that makes any sense. Policing the police cuts down on a lot of the injustice that happens when a brother or sister may get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to throw your phone up, but it's also throw your phone up and jot some things down. And if you're throwing your phone up to record and you're not showing it to the proper authorities or the proper people to like, look, this is what's happening. This is the injustice. That's things that are going on. You have issues, man. That's where the issues stem from. We're not policing ourselves. We depend on the people that basically want to, hold us down and lock us in. We depending on them to police us, and they don't understand. Half of them don't come from, majority of them don't come from the community, so they're not going to be able to understand the community. So that's how you got to lock in on it. Like I said before, that goes back to what I said before. We have to lock in with one another, talk with one another, and when they have these, what are they called? monthly meetings, every city, the council meetings, different things like that. We need to be a part of it. You need to go there and voice your opinion on what's going on in your community, in your world.
I mean, here's what I'll say to it. I'm gonna offer a little bit of resistance on it. Because I don't think it's gonna be that easy. I mean, as far as like the police brutality, and because they not gonna let you. Like, you gotta look back. You talk about the Panthers and stuff like that. This is when we tried to police our community. Because remember the Panthers, Nation of Islam, they was making sure women got home. They had breakfast programs. They was trying to do good for the community. Even a lot of the gangs started like that. Even your organization you with, I'm sure y'all trying to do good for the community, brotherhood and stuff like that. These types of things and stuff that's targeted. They try to tear this. They try to tear apart black unity. They do, not try. They tore apart black unity. So, I mean, that it sounds real good, and I feel you where you're coming from. But it's just like every time something started, they come in and destroy it.
I'm gonna tell you,
destroy it too, but
no, we're not going. I mean, hate is something that's taught. So, in order for us as a people to have hate, we had to have first been taught it, and that goes back to something way back, our ancestors and things like that. I'm not going to go too far into that and be too deep. That we say that for another conversation. But to answer that question, bro, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be something that's during our generation possibly. That's something that we got to teach the future generations. You know what I'm saying? We got to sit back at home and let them know historically what we're about. Historically, that we're not just slaves and Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, and that's it. We got to start from there. We got to start, teaching these kids about different things and showing them what it's about and what it is to be good. That's why my club, Blackout Soldiers, and the Burning Aces, and a lot of other clubs in the area, we go out at least once a month and feed the homeless, give out clothes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that we're rich by no means, but we do that. And I think it's a start. And if we start, we show kids that there is a better way, that's how you can pretty much begin the conversation and begin to get people to go into these politicians and go into these different things like that.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I definitely agree with you on that. Shifting to the music.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to talk about the music. What do you think about the state of hip-hop as it stands right now? You got a lot of good rappers with a lot of good messages and all that, but you got this whole other side of hip-hop that seems like it's the biggest, that sells the most, that most of our people are influenced by. You know what I mean? The message that's being put out now is almost a effeminization. You got with your boy, this also I want to ask you about too, your boy Taye Diggs throwing the dress on, like Madonna. What's going on in the hip-hop industry? Are they trying to turn us into homos or effeminate black males?
So let me ask you this: when you go to any urban community, do you see us acting like that? You may see a couple young kids with the little extra tight jeans on and things like that, right? So when an artist sells over 1 million plus records, who is that really filtering to? What demographic or audience is that attacking? So ask yourself that, one. Two, do I think it's how did you turn? What was the word you used? Defeminizing our community.
Defeminizing, meaning like
I know what you mean. Right. Sonically, I don't think so. I think it's more of a visual thing. Look at the cartoons that they have. Look at the TV shows where they're constantly showing, men in dresses and men dressing in drag. I think it's the visual aspect. I think the sonically music is a reflection of somebody's community. So if sonically I'm giving you what's going on, you gotta listen to the words, not what you see. The visuals to capture you, to build you in. That's for the the visual side of the consumer. Right. But the music and the message is what you need to listen to. Because when we came up in the 90s and 2000s, late 90s, 2000s, the music, you had your 50 Cents. He was talking about woo woo. But if you got the overall body of work, the popular records, he's talking about bitches, hoes, and all this other stuff. And when you listen to the music, he actually has something behind it, some substance. So it's the same thing. I think music is in a good space. I think it's not recouping. Hip hop is not recouping financially what it should be or what it could be. But you take the good with the bad. Everything has a season. I think this is a season for this, and it's a matter of time for that season to come back around for quality over quantity. Because that's what we're in right now. We over the quality. We over quantity. We're in quantity, mass. Everything is fat. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we do today is hot. Today is not. So that's where we at. So musically, it's in a good space, man. And I think there is a plot and plan for certain artists. I'm not gonna do the whole name calling shit, but it's a plot and a plan to to make certain men feminine. You know what I'm saying? To perpetuate and have it look like the shit's cool when it's really not. You know what I'm saying? Right. To each its own, but it's really not. You know, like having little boys, you're not giving them a choice. Little boys out here, you see kids out here looking crazy, dressing. You know what I'm saying? We're not giving our kids a choice, man. And I think that's what's fucked up, really.
Talk about we have a whole history of our kids coming up with single parent households.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about the importance of having a father in a household, and that also being one of the factors why, because you can watch the hip hop, like, because white kids are watching the hip hop and all that a lot.
Uh-huh.
Their parents ain't really letting them. They got examples of lawyers, doctors. All we see is niggas with their pants down with gold chains on, talking shit as our role models. We don't really have the doctors and the lawyers. So talk about the importance of having a male role model in a household for these inner city youth.
The importance, that sounds like it's two questions, John, about the pants down and all that, the community. So I'm answering in two ways. The first way is the reason why we don't have these influences or these role models is because it's not given to us. At one point, we had most kids coming up, they either wanted to be an officer, they wanted to be a doctor. When you watch it on TV, you don't see too many cats being doctors or lawyers, you see them being gangsters. And if you're looking at somebody that's a reflection of you and your neighbor's doing the same thing, you're like, damn, I can get this over here. I want to be a rapper, I want to be a singer. You don't see kids too often saying they want to be cops and things like that anymore because of what's going on. So to answer that first question, we have to understand that what we put out there and what we do, kids are watching. We need these kids out here to genuinely see this. And it has to be taught in school and in the household. And to the second question about having a male figure in the household, like, look, you can have a male figure, but if he's not a positive influence, no matter what, if he's not educating himself or educating his family, it's not going to mean anything. It's important to have that, especially in the black household. But this goes into the white households. Nah, it's to the black households. If you don't have any reflection of positivity, you know what I'm saying? If you're constantly seeing negativity, if your mom is on drugs, your dad's on drugs, that home ain't happy, man. You're breeding and bringing up other kids that's reckless, and you're keeping a pattern going.